What's good, people? It's the Rap Roundtable here. Your boy Jarv, Sincere the Rap Snob, Diddy the Balance, the homie Mace. We just need y'all to like, share, and subscribe when you tap into the videos. We're trying to reach 5,000 subs and eventually 10K subs. And with your help, we could definitely do that. Especially people who watch the videos and don't sub. You watching, we appreciate it. But the subs help us run it up even more. For our people who are already sub, make sure you hit that bell right next to the subscribe option. Pick all. When you pick all, it allows us to feed you what you need to get from us immediately. If you don't hit all, you'll get it when YouTube decides to give it to you. But if you hit all, you get the streams, you get the community posts, you get our regular uploads, you get everything. Hit all, help us run these numbers up, 5K, 10K, build a Rap Roundtable brand. Tap in with us. Peace.
The Rap Roundtable.
Tony Yayo, like they rolling out the Yayo episode. So you know how they do, they throw the clips out. Of course. Yes. In the midst of the clips, Yayo was talking about the legacy of G-Unit. He made a hot take, crazy quote, said that the legacy of G-Unit is 50 Cent, Tony Yayo, and Lloyd Banks. I know people all over the nation feel some type of way about that, and it's our responsibility as the rap, shout out to Josh at the cut. It's our responsibility as the Rap Roundtable to discuss how the culture feels about this. Sin, stand down. Hold on. Hold on.
All right. Hold on.
I feel like
you see me reaching.
I feel like this is Mace's topic because Mace talks about G-Unit all the fucking time. He grew up with G-Unit. He experienced it in real time.
That's his Wu-Tang.
You know what I'm saying? That's his Wu-Tang.
That's a fact.
So, Mace, when Yayo passionately made this comment, what was your initial reaction to that statement?
I understood where he was coming from.
Talk to me.
I understood where he was coming from the original G-Unit stan himself. I understand because back in the day when you saw the No Mercy No Fear mixtape, 50 Cent is the future, God's Plan, Automatic Gunfire, it was 50 Banks and Yayo, and it was so ill that you thought Banks was Yayo because he had the deep voice. You thought the dark-skinned dude had the deep voice, and you thought Yayo was Banks. You didn't even know who was who back in the day.
That's crazy,
the G-Unit legacy, I understand where he's coming from, but for me to make my claim as G-Unit as you know, a top 3 rap group of all time,
right, we
have to include what Buck and Game brought to the case, because my whole argument, and Yayo, I love you, man, but you would never come up here and just scream over us the whole time, by the way. But Yayo,
it will go different. It will go a little different. But like, chill out, Yayo. We wouldn't ask those kind of questions the way they were asked. We were sneaking in. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? A little nuance, a little, you know,
Yayo was sick on that episode.
You know, but the G-Unit legacy, when I think about, you know, when I'm making the case for them, it's you know, not only one of the greatest commercial successes in group history. You know, everybody went platinum. You know what I mean? Everybody. You know,
wait, Yayo too?
Yayo went platinum too.
Yayo had hits, bro.
Yayo had hits.
That wasn't even
so seductive. It's still hit, just like he said.
All right.
Listen, man.
I'm gonna need to do my Googles. I wasn't.
Yayo,
like the top, bro, with the guillotine.
I needed clarity.
Come on now, but not only that, but also, they're one of the few rap groups that had successes in every coast. You know, we heard about Death Row East. You know what I mean? You know, other places. You know, I remember when Murder Inc. signed a West Coast rapper. Rockefeller, you know, Bad Boy. They didn't even really delve into other coasts. So one strong thing about the G-Unit is that they had a strong contender in every coast. So, you know, I understand Yayo being an original member. You know, the Memphis Bleak of the crew, feeling that way. That's not disrespect.
That sounds, I don't know why. That sounds disrespectful, though.
There's a stigma against that Memphis Bleak title. You know what I mean?
We was talking about it off.
You know, that's the right-hand man. You know what I mean?
Last episode.
So, no disrespect to them. But, you know, when I think about it, it's like that has to be a part of their legacy. So, for the legacy to be stronger, you have to include the fact that Game had a classic in the West and Buck had a classic in the South. You know what I mean? Those were the 3 original members, but it branched out. You know what I mean? So, that's not the only G-Unit legacy. You know, as much as, you know, I understand where Yayo is coming from.
Oh, Sincere, you were ready to go, bro. So,
I mean,
tap in.
Yeah, no, I was agreeing with Mace until he kind of like, flip-flopped on his take a little bit.
You know
my
Mace.
specialty.
Yeah, we know Mace.
The Skip Bayless of the rap round
know I
table.
know.
But no, I respect it. I
JID
respect
is
what Yayo
LeBron.
said. I mean, oh man.
You gonna get us killed, son.
Wow.
But listen,
That's crazy.
we know the game thing was industry. The Bucks seemed a little more organic, but it was still like an industry move.
Right.
Nah, man. The G Unit legacy is Queens, man. Like that.
Hey.
That's it.
QU.
New York bias, East Coast bias, all the way. That's G Unit is the 3 original members from Queens. The extra shit that happened afterwards, you know what I mean? Acquiring Game, acquiring Buck. We saw how that ended up.
Hey.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So clearly
seeing
that,
it.
that connection wasn't as strong as they wanted to make it seem. So
Wow.
nah, I agree with what Yayo said, 100%.
Deanie, you're the balance.
I think when Yayo said G Unit, I think he meant a little more than just music.
Right.
I think he meant from like the golden age. These guys grew up together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and when
Real
Game,
history there.
and when Game came in, Game wasn't like 50 said, yo, come join it. It was kind of like, yo, put him down kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? It kind of was put upon him. So it's a little different thing. Like Yayo said, you heard all the shit he was naming, the feds, the hip hop police. They just went through a different level of shit together. That Game probably was never part of that. Buck was probably never part of it. They talking about the trials and tribulations. Yeah, you sold records with us, nigga. But who was really out there dealing with the real smoke when the smoke
Whose
came
life
around?
was on the line.
There you
Facts.
go, and that matters, bro. And you gotta give respect to G Unit for what they did. Every person in the camp has hits. As a collective, they have hits. 50 was a force. 50's not my favorite. He's not in my favorites, but I gotta give him respect for what he's
Speak
done.
for
He's
yourself.
legendary. Yo, and that's a part of the reason why it was hard for me to get on the G Unit, because the head on them niggas was so crazy. Just like it was with Drake. I couldn't get into Drake because the niggas was buffing them niggas too hard. I was like, yo, slow down. I couldn't get into the tunes the way I wanted to.
Time out. You're calling a 20-second timeout.
I'm
We are-
keeping it
no.
Same thing with Wayne.
We're calling a 20-second timeout. What the fuck is the
Yo.
matter with you?
Bro.
You just dropped a 4-bar situation with mad plausible offenses, bro. What the
As
fuck
long
is
as my
going on?
pause comes first, Shot Easy. As long as my pause.
You didn't pause any of it,
I didn't
bro.
pause none of that.
None
Nah,
of
he
it.
did. No, he
bro.
did.
I paused all that, Mo. My shit is
All right,
real.
I'm sorry.
We got me on tape,
He did throw
y'all.
the
We
pause.
on
He
tape,
did throw the
y'all.
pause.
fuck are you talking
My
about?
shit is instant, nigga.
Yeah.
My shit's
Sometimes
like
you don't
noodles.
know.
He on his
My
Dame
pause
shit,
is
you
noodles.
heard?
Them shit is instant.
Bro, but you can't do 3 in a row,
Yo,
fam.
bro.
Yeah, no. One pause is not cover 3. Like
I'm not taking that from you, brother. I'm not taking that from you, brother.
Nah, not mad.
His shit legendary.
Pause wars.
You was wildin'.
You keep the pauses pausing, but I love you too. But
You
but
keep
the
the
fact is, like I said, Mo, like too many people was
Put that on his shirt.
Remember,
Hey,
when the
yo.
first tapes came out, everybody was just fanfare was crazy. I was still on
I
Hov and
was there.
Nas.
I was there.
I was still on Hov and Nas. I
I
was
remember my dog Travis Carter. I'm sorry to shout you out. I remember him saying, "I wish I could get shot like 50." I remember that. He did.
Yo, I kind of
remember
feel.
that.
I
But
kind of
they
feel
are
what Dini was
they're
saying.
they're a
what?
legendary rap group, bro. Everybody showed up
I
when they had
kind
to
of
show
feel
up.
what Dini's saying, because I remember one time I was walking to the train on my way to work, and some dude came up to me selling mixtapes, mix CDs or whatever. He was like, "Yo, I got that latest G Unit," and I'm like,
So?
I'm a little good on the G Unit right now. I've heard,
You've been
I've heard
you
a
your
lot
whole
of G
life,
Unit,
bro.
And he was like,
born
"Yo,"
like this.
he looked at me like I was absolutely out of my mind.
Yeah.
Like he was like, "What? I've never heard anybody say such a thing."
Right.
G Unit.
Fuck this nigga talking about? He was like, what? What he said?
the fuck are you talking about?
Exactly.
One of the greatest
fuck
rap
are you
crews in
talking
history,
about?
though.
You know
When
what I mean?
look
You
at
know
what
what
they
this crack
did,
cocaine.
what
Word.
they did as
talking
a
about?
group. I mean, like I said, Yayo got hits. Somebody will argue that with me, but I'm like, yo, go and check this shit. Yayo, not Tony Banks,
Tony Banks.
I'm smacked. Lloyd Banks, the first 3 joints got some joints on it, bro.
on.
Karma was on
Come
there.
on.
The shit with Jeremiah, they got songs. Beamer, Benz, and Bentley, they got hits,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Like even the dudes that's not the stars got hits. You got to give respect to what G Unit did.
But is
as a group.
Tony Yayo right for saying the legacy is Yayo,
Absolutely.
Banks, and 50?
Absolutely. I wasn't getting shot with you around,
Nah,
nigga. We was
because
getting shot at,
The
nigga.
thing is,
You wasn't with me shooting
in the gym,
or,
or we was getting
in the
shot at in the gym.
streets.
Game
Or at
and
the
Buck
grandmama
added to
house.
the legacy, bro. This is
Musically.
not like when Nori and
Musically.
Joe Budden were walking around with rock
Rockefeller
chains, bro.
chains.
Like, I remember that shit, Dame. This is not that, bro. They were part of the legacy. Yayo just, you know, he biased.
Not for nothing. I think that had more to do with the Rockefeller breakup than anything else. Dame was just getting everybody
a chain.
Twister, you not even signed. Here's
I
a
remember
chain.
this. Everybody had a rock chain.
Yo,
now everybody
the
got one
Oprah
now, though.
Winfrey of rock chains.
Yo.
You get a chain.
All right, so
You get a chain. Y'all all get a chain.
Everyone gets a
Child Easy
chain.
has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now.
Right.
Rap
Do
Round
not
Table
blame
talking that
him.
shit. I'm a
These are our
civilian. I'm a
opinions.
civilian.
Shab, from your perspective as a New Yorker, you lived it, you experienced the G-Unit rise.
Okay.
When Yayo made that comment, did you agree or disagree?
I understood where he was coming from.
Okay.
Because first of all, let me say my favorite mixtape of all time, 50 Cent is the Future. That was the first time I got put on to G-Unit and stuff.
This is a good man.
So, if he's talking original G-Unit, yes, it's 50, Banks, Yayo. And we was all hyped to hear if Yayo was gonna come back home. Because we was like, free Yayo.
Free
We was
Yayo.
like,
Oh, like,
yes,
at the
yes, we look-
Grammys.
Yeah, all of that.
Beg my
now,
pops for one of those
now,
shirts,
if we
man.
talking legacy, I mean, yo, Game was an add-on, yes. Game was an add-on. Remember, they signed Buck because Yayo was in jail.
Right.
They brought Buck in and you know what I mean? And then Yayo came back and he kind of added more into the element and
Right.
stuff. But I mean, to say that they're not part of the legacy, I mean, that man was there. He saw things that I ain't see, but I mean, they were part of the process. But I guess you could say G-Unit, I would say originally 50, Yayo and Banks. I look at
Alright.
that.
Yeah.
The musical
Respectfully.
legacy,
Yeah.
they're definitely a part of it.
Respectfully. All right, so
Is Kid G-Unit? Like, is Kid original?
Or Trav.
So,
Right.
Neither.
Would
OT
Yayo say
Genesis?
Smurf is more G-Unit than Game?
Spider Low? Spider Low?
Spider
Kenny
Low.
Spider Low?
Spider
That's
Low.
a fact.
What about MOP, guy?
What about Mobb Deep?
I was gonna say,
Yo,
yeah,
that
yeah.
Mobb Deep
Mace.
G-Unit album went. I
Mace
ain't
was
gonna
there.
lie, man.
Mace was G-Unit for a second.
Wow. It was
Like
taking
2
everybody,
seconds.
bro.
Listen, man, Blood
I'm about
Money
to get
went.
Beanie Siegel, too.
Hey, look.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. You know what? And this is where we get shot at by our fans because they're gonna say that this is that New York bias shit. So I feel like I'm gonna pull a sincere and I'm gonna explain myself. Usually I don't give a fuck, but I'm gonna explain. As people, we always remember like the first time we were introduced to something. What we got the first time is what we remember it as. Even if we add on like boom, this is what it is, whatever. When we first got introduced to G-Unit, it was 50, Banks, and Yayo. And now that's embedded in our mind. That's G-Unit. Whatever happens after that is a product of the success of, like, to me, Game was a product of the success of G-Unit. Interscope said, yo, 50 can help Game do big things. The South was taking off. Put Young Buck with 50. He can do big things. But in our mind, ingrained, it's those three. I take it a step further. I remember being very hyped. I think I was still working with you guys at the library. And they dropped the Return of the Body Snatchers mixtape. And I was hyped because it was Banks, Yayo, and 50. Like a Dog is one of my most favorite rap songs ever. Mechanic, same shit. I love that tape. I was running that tape in my old Ultima for months.
Preaching to the choir, man.
I
That's a
love that
classic.
tape because it was the original G-Unit, because as much as I understand regions and marketing, we got the West Coast, we got the East Coast, we get the South. It was something about the dynamic of the New York Queens dynamic of Banks, Yayo, and 50 coming together, 50 picking the beats, coming up with the concepts and making fire songs that always resonated with. I remember the first time I heard fucking, was it Nothing to Something? That shit blew my mind, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's a New York nigga rhyme like you from the South. Like, wow. Don't get me wrong. I loved Ho, I love Rockefeller, so I always looked at 50 bars like, But I love the dynamic. I love what they were bringing to the table. When Yayo came home and he, what was it? What was
Ain't
it
no
joint?
click.
Do you know what this is? When that single
that's
dropped,
so
so seductive.
Yeah.
You couldn't stop. Yo, I was running the instrumental. I was running the song. Amazing.
Did y'all peep the reference track that 50 actually wrote that verse for yeah?
That's crazy.
Need to share that, man.
With the game reference track.
50 Cent back on that gangster shit.
Bro,
My way,
that
OT,
beat,
flip them.
though.
You be keeping shit in the tuck, man.
Hey, you know?
Honestly, at some point, 50. The
I'm the
reason
new
why
Sid.
50 don't get talked nicely about in the annals of hip hop is because his run wasn't as long as it should have been. But boy, that nigga was good.
He was cooking, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
And Kanye.
So I agree with Yayo. Yeah,
Damn,
Kanye
yeah.
happened.
Yeah, some smoke.
And Kanye was that
defeated
deal.
50, man.
Y'all hate to hear us say it, but Kanye was that deal. It is what it is. I agree with Yayo because we're introduced to those three. They made fire together. Their freestyles were fire. The Murder Inc. beef was fire. Everything they touched, fire. And Banks solo. I'm so fly when he went solo. That single came out. Yo, fuck out it.
Yeah, Victory's
The
freestyle.
Ashanti jokes about her sideburns, nigga.
I'm in the Spurs throwback with the all gray Tims.
Come on, son.
Banks was the guy, really.
I
That's what we really
agree
like.
with Tony Yayo.
Oh,
I'm
God.
sorry, y'all. That's not to say nothing about Game. Game is great.
He showed up.
I love Be clear, I love Young Buck. I love his music, but the G Unit is those three.
That
It's just
for
like
Mercy tape.
it is what it is. Mace, I know you got some questions for Shy, so let me shut the hell up.
Absolutely. So Shy, I was newly introduced to you.
Okay.
Finding your music for the first time was a treat though. I ain't even gonna lie. In Alibaba, the most recent joint you dropped.
Shout out.
Yes, sir.
Is it Balakai Beats?
Balake.
Balake Beats.
Shout out to Balake Beats, man.
Balake Beats.
Shout out to
It's almost a
Balake.
collaboration between Balake and Shy. It's like
The whole tape, right? He did the whole
he
tape.
did the whole tape.
Yeah.
So I what I appreciated about it was the cohesiveness of it, and Jaw spoke about it in a reaction earlier. But cohesiveness is not only sonically, but also thematically, also just the feel of the album. So I really appreciated that about Alibaba. But what I wondered was that. Do you enjoy doing single producer projects for that reason or another reason, or do you like getting in the lab with a bunch of different producers, figuring out different sounds, different themes? What do you prefer?
Well, part of my business model is this. So my whole thing is like, I like to do any of it, but my business model is I like to work with one producer. So it'll be like, I shine, you shine. So I get the credit, you get some credit. We all look good. It's
beautiful.
Our names are out there. Everybody wins. You know what I mean? We all trying to come up. So as I'm climbing up through the ranks, I got these producers. They emailing me beats. Yo, let's do something. So I said, all right, let's do something. So let's do a collaborative project. You know what I mean? And let's put our brands out there to the forefront and let's all shine. Let's all look good. And that's part of like my movement as far as being in the underground New York. Like I want to see my peoples go crazy. You know what I'm saying? If you rooting for me, I'm rooting for you. So let's win together. So all you producers out there, if you seeing something, you like this, come holler at me. Let's work.
Sid.
I got a question for you too, Shalizi. You just mentioned 50 Cent, the tape,
Yeah.
inspiration, pop,
Center's future. Pop. Yeah.
changes.
Yeah.
What influences you? What influenced you as a rapper? And a second question on top of that.
Wait, Dini. Don't follow on the question.
He can knock it. It's smooth. He can knock it out. It's a smooth question.
Copy.
What? Who influenced you, bro? My guy. Who influenced you, and what do you say? Where do you think those influences show in your music today? Basically, if I'm asking.
Oh man. So like Pac definitely inspired me, but when you listen to my music, it's a whole East Coast vibe. Like
Facts.
it's like I took Hove, I took Nas, I took Big L, I took all of my favorite rappers, and yet again, New York bias. Sorry.
You did.
You know what I'm saying? I took my
shit.
favorite rappers that I grew up listening to, and I just shook them in a box, and then you got Habibi King. You know what I'm saying?
Shalizi.
Yo, every super nice rapper mentions Big L. Y'all ever noticed
Have
that?
to.
Yo,
on,
it's
man.
wild.
Listen, L was
an all-time.
incredible, man.
Ask Beavis like nothing but head.
Real shit. But I gotta say this, because just like I said, I was newly introduced to you.
Right.
I was kind of taken aback by the amount of music that you have. You know what I mean? Going back years and years, but I see you picked it up crazy during pandemic time. I'm like, yo, my man was really on it. So the thing is, you have so much music and so much subject matter, you could kind of fuck with anything.
Yeah.
But I would mention this. I was feeling the questions for 6ix9ine. I don't want to get gossipy. I don't want to get, I'm sorry guys, but I was like, yo, this is dope because you really were breaking it down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I have to say, we're not going to talk about Daniel. He got his own issues. But if you continue the question series, do you have another artist that you would have questions for?
Good question, Macy.
Damn. Not right now off my head, but if I find something that's crazy as what 6ix9ine was doing and stuff, might have to do another one.
hard.
You know what's funny about that song was that song got inspired off a conversation I was having with my man because he was just coming back home from the feds or wherever his whole situation was, and everybody was anticipating who's gonna give him his first interview. So me and my mans was like, yo, who you think is gonna give him the first interview? I said, I think Angie gonna give the first interview. And he said, nah, I think Lisa Evers, Street Soldiers, is gonna give the first interview.
Classic.
So then we was just talking, and then I just start like freestyling a couple of ideas, like if I was asking him questions and shit like that.
that's
And then he was like, yo, you gotta put that on a track or something like that. And then literally the day he came home, we went on his live, and I just started like posting it up. Yo, 6ix9ine, question 6ix9ine freestyle on my page. Check it out. And then like it just started picking up. I was at the club like a year ago, and somebody was like, questions for 6ix9ine, straight up. And I was just like, wow. Like
It was dope. I was like, yo, bro, really going in right now.
Yo, look, you talked about Alibaba, right? Fire Project, by the way. It's on Apple Music. Tap
check
in.
it out.
What made you name this particular project Alibaba? With everything you talked about earlier about stereotypes and things of that nature, what made you lean into it with this project?
Oh, well, they called me Alibaba when I was a kid growing up.
Okay.
So, like, that's why when you see the album cover, it's a childhood photo of me and stuff like that, and my family. So, I just wanted to, like, for the people back home, for the kids back in Staten and stuff, like, I'm still that Staten kid. I'm still Alibaba to y'all, you know what I mean? And that's why when you hear the album, it's a lot of nostalgic feel. So, like, when you hear the song like Dylon, for instance, and you hear that, like, I'm the greatest, name the 5 greatest rappers, like, these are, like, my favorite childhood shows that I used to watch. So, like, I'm just sharing all of that with you and stuff, and I feel like there's people out there that can relate to that grew up in that era, and even if they didn't grow up in the era, they get inspired from that too.
Respectfully, I like that. I like that a lot because also, you know what? Growing up, kids are not the brightest.
Right.
And sometimes they might call you a name and it might not be endearing. So I like the idea of you taking that. It's my shit now.
Biggie formula. Taking the negative, turn it into positive, right? Like when Big was like heartthrob ever, black and ugly as ever. Like
Yes.
I just took everything. Like, look, they used to call me Camel Fucker back in the school, back in the day. They used to call me Camel Fucker. So what did I do? I made my logo the camel.
Wow.
Why I make it the camel? Because the camel keeps going. No matter what, rain, hail, sleet, snow, desert sand going in your face, the camel got to go to his or her destination. They don't stop. They got to go. They might take a rest, but they got to keep going. So that's what's like, all right, I'm a camel fucker, fuck it. But you gonna rock it. And guess what? People love the logo. People like the shirts. We rocking out.
What he's saying is he got paid off of y'all hate.
You had everything in store, bro.
Nah. What he's saying is Charlize's unstoppable. That's what I'm hearing. Facts.